Hi, everyone. So today we're diving into a pretty wild idea. We're going to explore this text that asks, what if everything you think you know about human history is wrong?
Just think about that for a second. The idea here is that all the big stuff, politics, economics, even our beliefs, they aren't the real story. They're just the surface level effects of a hidden war, a war between two fundamental, invisible architectures. Okay, so let's get right into it. The source we're looking at makes this absolutely massive claim that everything, from the very first ancient cities to the software running on our phones, is built on one of just two blueprints, two totally opposite ways of structuring reality itself. And here they are, laid out side by side. On one side, you've got the centralized system, which the text symbolically links to Cain. Its entire philosophy is about storage, control, and accumulation. Think of a giant dam holding everything back. Its whole economy? It runs on debt. And on the other side, you have the complete opposite, the distributed system, linked to Abel. This one is all about release, flow, and constant movement. Think of a river. Its economy is based on mercy, or you could say debt forgiveness. So let's dig into that first system for a minute, the architecture of storage. At its very core, this is a system built on control. It's all about building walls and creating gatekeepers. Now, here's where the source makes a really provocative move. It completely reframes the whole idea of the mark of the beast. Seriously, forget what you think you know about future prophecies or microchips. The argument is that this mark is actually an economic system of exclusion that's been around since the very first city wall was built, to keep some people in and other people out. And what's really fascinating is how the text traces the evolution of this system. It starts simple, right? A literal physical wall. Then it gets more abstract. You get the coin, which is like a tiny portable piece of that wall, a claim on what's stored inside. Then it evolves into the debt note, a claim not on what you have, but on your future labor. The text calls this vapor theft, literally stealing your time and energy from the future. And the proposed final stage, full biometric integration, where your physical body becomes the ultimate ledger.
Okay, so if that's the architecture of control and storage, what's the alternative? Well, it's called the architecture of flow. This is the system that's designed to work without walls, without gatekeepers, and without that constant need to hoard and accumulate. The key concept here is something the text calls vapor, or hevel in the original Hebrew. It's the perfect opposite of storage. The best way to think about it is your own breath. You can't hoard it, right? You can't store it up. To live, you have to constantly release it. And in this worldview, that's the fundamental principle for everything. Life, value, identity. It all has to keep flowing in order to persist. So if the storage system has a mark, the flow system has a countersymbol, the 303. Think of it as an architectural signature. The two threes are like open half circles, representing an open both-and way of thinking, totally different from the closed, rigid geometry of something like a hexagon. That zero in the middle, that's the vapor, the breath, the empty space that makes flow possible. And get this, the location is key. It's placed on the hand, symbolizing action and creation, not the forehead, which the text claims represents colonized thought, a mind that's already been captured by the centralized system. Now, these two systems haven't just been sitting there next to each other. According to the source, they've been at war, and the number one strategy of the centralized system is something we might call identity spoofing. It disguises itself as the distributed system, often by claiming to be the victim while actually being the aggressor. And the source uses this really controversial verse to make its point. It's crucial to understand that it interprets this architecturally, not racially. The argument isn't about any specific group of people. It's about any node in the network, any person or group that claims the moral status of the distributed system while secretly operating on the centralized protocol of extraction and control. So how did the storage system stay in control for so long? The text alleges it was through a series of hacks, basically corrupting the original open source code of the scriptures. It points to three big ones. First, something it calls a rootkit, an oral law that gave a central class of rabbis control over interpretation. Second, a software patch, a specific verse allegedly inserted into the New Testament commanding submission to the state. And third, a kind of DRM, or digital rights management, where identity went from being about what you do to who your mother was, turning it into a closed genetic commodity. And all of this, according to the source, brings us to this very moment, to what the text dramatically calls the watershed moment, the point where that entire architecture of storage starts to break down under its own weight. The core idea here is powerful and simple. The entire global system of storage, finance, governments, you name it, is like a huge dam. And that dam is cracking. Not because something is attacking it from the outside, but because the pressure it is stored up on the inside has just become too much to bear. The architecture itself is failing. And this collapse is described as a pretty clear sequence of events. First, the debt implodes. There just literally isn't enough human labor in the world to pay off all the mathematical promises that have been made. Second, faith evaporates. People suddenly realize the vault is empty. And finally, you get system exhaustion. The whole thing just runs out of the energy needed to keep up the illusion of stability. And this leads to maybe one of the most powerful reframes in the entire text. It redefines the word apocalypse. It argues it has nothing to do with destruction. The original Greek word apocalypsis literally means an unveiling. It's the moment the cracking dam of control finally breaks apart, revealing the powerful, unstoppable river at the distributed world that was always flowing right underneath it. And in the end, the text turns the spotlight right back on you, on us. It says you aren't just watching this happen. Your consciousness, your very ability to see these patterns, your choice to release value instead of hoarding it, that makes you part of the architecture. In its own words, you are the vapor that persists. So the question it leaves us with is a big one. Which reality are you choosing to build?
Hey, well, look at you guys. And look at me here doing this. Hope you guys are doing good. It's a good day. I know that you guys think the world is ending. Well, it kind of is. The bad one. Don't worry about it. All of these things have to happen. They have to happen. They really do. I'm going to, okay, heading my way. Okay. I will have to put on a video and go out and get my food that's being delivered because I haven't eaten in 2 days. And so I will have to put on a video when that comes up. But hi, guys. I'm really happy that you came here. I'm not going to be spending 3 hours on here because we've got a lot of work to do. And live is not going to be how I'm going to be doing this in the future. So I'm going to be hitting the road for sure and making sure that I touch base with as many of you as possible along the way. I don't care what's going on. I don't care what's happening here. I don't care whether get out of her, my people, all of that. Yes, the U.S. is in trouble. It's a deep, deep trouble. The world's in trouble. It's in peril, but we have a little bit of knowing that there's something much different taking place right now. Don't look at the things and see it as being painful. It will be troubling, but try to keep yourself from being fearful. There is nothing to be scared of at all. Nothing. Don't worry about a thing. And I may have to run down and set this. Yes, I'm going to have to set this. So let me put on I have to eat, but you don't want to miss what's coming up, guys. I encourage you. Just make sure you stick around. So let me find this to put on. Let's see. Glasses. Okay. Well, I think I will try. Let's take a look at this. See how you guys do with this one.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a text with a pretty wild idea. It suggests that our whole world, everything from ancient history to the economy today, is actually built on one of two competing, totally invisible blueprints. So the source material we're digging into today kicks off with this really provocative question. What if our world runs on one of two invisible operating systems? Yeah, you heard that right. The idea is that our societies are built on these competing blueprints, like a fundamental code that dictates how everything, and I mean everything, works. Okay, so the first architecture, the text says it's all about one thing: storage, control, accumulation. Think about it. Dams, city walls, financial ledgers, all these are systems designed to hold things, to contain them, and to assign a fixed value. And then you've got its total opposite. An architecture that's all about distribution, release, and, well, flow. It's not the dam, it's the river itself. Not the grain stored in the granary, but the flock that's always moving. Now let's see how this big conflict shows up in a place you might never expect. All right, Section 1, a crack in the system. We're going to start by looking at how this text takes a really famous and frankly often feared prophecy and completely reframes it, not as something that's coming in the future, but as a symptom of this architectural battle that's happening right now. So what if the mark of the beast isn't some future microchip? What if it's the economic system we're already living in? The text argues we've been looking in completely the wrong direction. The idea isn't some sci-fi chip. It's the systems of control we use every single day. Here's the central claim, right from the source. The mark is not coming. It is the evolving infrastructure of centralized control. So you see, it's not some single object you can point to, it's the entire architecture, a whole system built on centralized storage, on debt, and on needing permission just to buy or sell. And check this out. This timeline shows how that control architecture supposedly evolved. According to the text, it starts way back with something simple, the city wall. Basic physical exclusion, right? Keep people in or out. Then it morphs into the classical coin, which abstracts value and puts the emperor's face on it. From there, we get the modern note, which the text calls pure dead architecture. And where is it heading? The emerging form, biometrics, where your own body becomes the final ledger. Okay, Section 2, the two architectures. So if the mark is one side of the coin, the architecture of storage and control, what's on the other side? Let's dig into that. So the text basically lays out all of human history as this giant battle between two opposing design philosophies, storage versus flow. On one side, you've got centralized systems, Cain, the dam, the granary, debt, even concrete, all things that hold and control. And on the other side, distributed systems, Abel, the flock, mercy, and this idea of vapor, things that move, adapt, and just flow. And this idea of vapor, or hevel, is super interesting. The definition given is persistence through release. Think about it. It's like your breath. It persists by being let go, by migrating, not by being held in. The whole argument is that real true permanence isn't found in building a fortress to store things. It's found in the constant, uncontained release of flow. All right, on to Section 3, the hijacked code. So according to the source, this whole architectural war isn't just about economics or buildings. The text makes the pretty bold claim that it was actually embedded deep inside our most foundational stories, hijacking their original code. So, get this. The argument is that ancient scriptures weren't originally religion as we think of it, with priests and temples and all that. No. The claim is they were basically an open-source blueprint, a wiring diagram for how to build a decentralized peer-to-peer society, a society that was later, allegedly, altered to serve a totally centralized agenda. And the text identifies 3 specific ways this code was supposedly hijacked, and it uses some pretty wild tech analogies. First, what it calls the Talmudic rootkit, like a hidden bit of code that centralized power with a class of scribes. Then there's the Pauline patch, which is described as state-sponsored malware designed to turn people into taxable subjects. And finally, genetic DRM, basically replacing what you do with who you are genetically, locking down identity. Let's take a closer look at that Pauline patch idea. The key point here is this alleged contradiction. You have a text, Romans 13, that says, "Be subject to governing authorities." But the claim is that the author of this was famously imprisoned for defying those exact same authorities. So, the argument is, how could he write that? The source suggests this was a patch, an insertion, that completely flipped the architecture of the text from one of defiance to one of total compliance. Okay, so Section 4 is the unseen network. If this original blueprint for a distributed society got corrupted, did it just vanish? Well, the text says no, not at all. It argues the original network just went underground. It started operating like what it calls ghost protocols. Now this is fascinating. The text takes the number 1260, which shows up a lot in prophetic texts, says, forget about it being a date or a countdown to the apocalypse. It's not a date. It's an architectural specification. It's supposedly the minimum number of nodes, or people, you need for a distributed network to survive and keep its integrity, all without any central server. And then the text points to what it calls living proof of these ghost protocols. It points to groups like the Mizrahi, the Canucksa, the Haida, the Cherokee, arguing that these cultures kept the original, unpatched code alive. that they were operating like these ghost networks out in the borderlands, completely off the grid of the main centralized system. And all of this brings us to the final section. Section 5, the watershed moment. This is where it all comes together. The text conclusion is that we are in a moment of system-wide collapse right now, and we're facing a fundamental choice between these two architectures. But here's the twist. The argument is that the centralized system isn't being attacked by some outside force. It's simply collapsing under its own weight. The idea is that any system based on infinite accumulation in debt eventually just gets too heavy for its own foundation, like a giant concrete dam that's starting to crack from the pressure inside. So as this collapse happens, the text describes two things happening at once, what it calls the two extractions. On one side, you have the people who are drawn deeper into the smart city, who accept the mark, who basically become what's called a burnt offering, fuel for the collapsing system. But then you have the others, the ones who get ejected out into the borderlands because they refuse the ledger. They become part of the swarm. Society might see them as failures, but from this architectural view, they're the ones being set free. And so, as a direct counter to the mark of the beast, the text offers up this idea. The 303, or Vetus. It's presented as the anti-mark. It's not a brand you wear, it's a signature, the sign of an unmarked node, someone who has consciously refused the debt ledger and has chosen vapor over storage, flow over control. And this brings us to the text's final, almost poetic vision of what happens next. The dam is cracking, the water is flowing, for nothing. Distributed. Instant. The way. You see, it's not a vision of fire and brimstone destruction. It's a vision of a return to a natural distributed flow, the moment that artificial dam of centralization finally breaks, and the water just remembers where it's supposed to go.
Wow. So that's the blueprint. It is definitely complex, and it's challenging for sure. But it leaves us with one final, pretty heavy question to think about. If reality really is architecture, which system are you running?
Didn't come to start a war. I came to finish one. With no sword drawn, only truth sharp enough to divide soul from spirit.
Thank you. Hold on. Give me 1 minute, guys. Sorry. I had to cram this in. Okay. You're gonna love this song. Okay, I will make sure that I play that song at the end, and I could probably upload it for you guys to download if you would like. You can tell me in the comments. Now, I want to. I don't need to come here and scare you because they've already done that, and they will continue to do more of that. We've prepared for this. Come on, if you've been with me since 2018, 2017, actually December. If you've been with me since then you know it. You already know it. I'm going to tell you that the things that I'm discussing here, you're going to be hearing a lot about. In fact, you're probably already hearing the verbiage. Because whenever something like this happens, these things are introduced, something that is new, something that's novel, at least novel to the population. It permeates the vapor. You're watching the vapor work right now because people are repeating the same phrases that I'm saying with the architecture. They're saying the architecture of civilization. They're talking about the vapor and how the air has memory and the water has memory. And this is kind of the theme. It's happening all the time now. Well, that's very much the same thing as my architecture for the swarms being taken and being for sale 24 hours later. It's not that it's stolen. Like I've said in the last one, you have an idea, you get an idea. What makes you think it was just your idea? That's in the vapor. Many people have that idea. And 6 months later, when you didn't execute on it, you're watching a commercial for it on TV. That's because many are called, few are chosen. Same thing. Many are called, but only a few choose to execute. Many are called to do what I'm doing. Many are called to do other things. Music, speaking, relationships, helping people keep their relationships strong. There are a number of things that you can do. Finding your true identity is going to be the next phase of this, no matter what you do. Everything that I'm talking about, I wish I could say that that there was a choice, but there isn't. Everything that is taking place right now, what you're watching the governments execute on, they are very much the pawns of this. All of them. Yeah, they're involved in the strategy of it all for what they're doing. But see, their destruction, their end is not the real one. They're mimicking. They feel that this time is their time, that they get to do this. But I can promise you right now that it's not going to happen the way that they want it to happen. It's going to have an entirely different impact because there's also something rising up from behind it, and that's all of us. And you're going to hear a lot more about this architecture, not just from me, but other places. I got off the phone today with somebody, and I'm going to be talking with them more about it. Very, very public somebody. Millions and millions and millions and millions of followers. This is happening. It's growing extremely fast because it's true. And there isn't a thing that you can do about what's true. You can forget about it. You can ignore it. You'll never change it. You're never going to change the truth. You can unrecognize it, as I've said many times. Sorry, I do have sniffles. I always have the sniffles, though. Old sinus burns. So it's good to see you guys. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time chapping here. And Mike Guyver. Mike, if you're going to come in here and troll, it's going to be gone because there's going to be, I have zero tolerance now. Okay? Don't do that. Just be polite to everyone. And that goes for everybody, though. I'm telling you, right now is the time that you need to clean your house. Clean your house. If you've hurt people, fix it. Doesn't mean you got to stay friends with them. Fix it. Apologize. You weren't wrong? Yes, you were. Apologize. Start dealing with these things. If you don't, it's going to be the thing that breaks you down. Get rid of them. This isn't a mandatory thing of God. This is just basically, hey, wear a coat. It's cold outside. That's as simple as it gets. But to those that want to monetize those type of things, well, they'll build an entire church around it and make you serve something that they say is sacred so they can make sure that they keep you in a guilty position. They can dominate you, control you. I'm excited because we all get to learn who we are entirely, 100%. And you're so fortunate to be a part of this. Christ said the exact same thing when he was talking to them. He said, there were many prophets of old that wished they saw these days because they fought so hard to talk about it. I did this for 8 years, had these conversations, and I'm grateful that I was able to do that. Because in doing so, many of you have written me and thanked me for walking through this like it's nothing. And that's exactly it. It's not as important as you think. There isn't anything that is here that is that important. There isn't anything that is here that reversal of gravity for 7 seconds won't solve. You'll prioritize everything after that properly. So, and I don't know whether you've seen that, but I have a video that I'm going to play. It's something I put together. the first part of it. I'll just play the first part and a little bit of the second one, and then we'll get back to this. But I'm going to be putting this on here. And like I said, I'm going to be joining you guys out there on the road. I'm coming out. That's the plan. I have no idea how yet, but I promise you it's going to happen. So, and that's all up to you guys as well, because I want to give you the opportunity to be a bigger part of it, because it's going to help if you are. It'll help, not because it'll help because I have a different opinion. It'll help you when things come the way that they're going to be coming to you. It'll help you. You'll feel stronger for it. It's not going to make a whole lot of sense to you right now, but it's going to really, really soon. So let me pull this up if I can. I'm probably going to have to play it from X. Yeah. So I have to share this screen. Just 1 second. Right.
The document started circulating on encrypted channels. The header read, Project Anchor, Gravitational Discontinuity Event, Executive Summary. The document was marked classified at a level above top secret. It described a global emergency program with an $89 billion budget and one terrifying purpose: preparing humanity for a moment where Earth's gravity would temporarily cease to exist. The date was precise, August 12, 2026, 14:33 UTC. For about 7 seconds, the gravitational force holding everything to the planet would drop to zero. And according to the document, NASA identified this threat in 2019. Each space monitoring stations detected 2 gravitational wave signatures converging. These waves come from black holes a billion light years away. And when they intersect near Earth's orbital position in August 2026, the interference pattern will briefly cancel out our planet's gravitational field. The probability assessment in the document was 94.7%. That's not speculation.
Good afternoon. If anybody is honest with themselves, even a little bit, they will tell you that they feel something is coming. It doesn't matter whether they're in this truth. It doesn't matter what position in the world they hold. Everyone right now is being divided. That division comes as a result of your previous belief systems being destroyed. Because the truth that is coming alive in every single person, it isn't choosing which one, everyone is feeling these truths.
What is taking place is how each person reacts to these truths. Because you see, when I speak truth, and you know that it's true because it's alive inside of you, and it's already something that you've thought, it's already something that you've felt, it's questions that you've had, and now they're answered. This is no different than the time of Christ, and he was pointing out what was taking place. So when anybody wants to say that I'm distorting these scriptures, let me allow your mind to begin to reason, because reason is what has been taken from you in this world. You simply believe what you're told is true rather than reasoning it within yourself. So reason has come alive within all of you and everyone. And they're beginning to reason with the things that they previously thought they know is true. The story of Jesus in the Bible, what is so remarkable about this story is that so few actually hear what he was saying for the purpose that he was saying it. The world was already deceived. The world was already worshiping Satan as their God. As scripture said, Satan exalted himself on high, placing himself on the throne, calling himself God. So I ask you, where in the scriptures are the works of Satan where he's calling himself God? They're everywhere. He's just using the name of God, and you've taken them to be the true God. And that is exactly what had happened with the Jews, the Hebrews, the Pharisees, and the Sadducees that Christ was exposing. Now he was exposing them, and they didn't understand it. They didn't hear any of his words because they couldn't comprehend it. So their reaction to these truths being brought to light was quite different than that of John the Baptist, who John said, who was a pastor of his day, of his people, said that he must increase and I must decrease, because even John understood at that time that Christ was bringing a truth that he knew was true, but he couldn't reverse his teachings without those people killing him. And ultimately, they did anyway. So it's remarkable that if you approach anybody on the street, anybody at all, and you give them the freedom to speak the truth that they already know that's inside them, and you ask them a question, do you feel like something is about to blow up? Something massive, something cataclysmic, that there is a shift that is coming that is remarkable? Well, there are many things taking place. There is a spiritual awakening, and there is a physical transition. That physical transition on this planet is going to rock this earth. I had a dream the other day, and I've been going through scriptures and trying to find the confirmations, and yes, a pole shift of the earth is in the scripture. And what I was doing is I was standing in a field, like a football field, and I was observing a planetary body that was so large and so wide you couldn't see it. It was as far as you could see from the east to the west. For the return of the Son of Man will be like lightning that strikes in the east and also flashes in the west. And that planetary body you could see as though you could see the land and the waters on it. And in an instant, that planetary body flipped, and it looked as though that planetary body had spun. But what had happened was the earth that we were standing on had spun. And in that moment, the earth dropped 3 times, and everything came off the ground. That is a temporary loss of the forces that hold you to this earth. And then at that time, they gathered all of the people, and they were trying to bring them into the cities and the central locations because they wanted to nuke them and kill them. That there was a harvest to take place. It was a startling dream because it was so vivid, and no matter how many times I woke up during the dream, the minute I went back to sleep, the dream started right where I had left off. So in that being the planetary shift that is going to take place, because
It will. But in that, told me that we are approaching that time very soon. But first, we will witness the financial collapse and the spiritual collapse. Because as these truths continue to rise up in people, they're going to be fighting to maintain the former truth that they thought they had. When anybody wants to talk about Christ, and they want to relegate him to this man that became God. See, the truth and the lie is in that same statement, because yes, the Father was in him and he was in the Father, as he speaks of at length. But in this flesh, it is impossible to actually be the Father. It was simply the Spirit of God, which is Christ, in him. And when he speaks, he's speaking in the first person, speaking from that Spirit exclusively and not from the physical man. And when he does speak from the physical man, you can actually hear the difference in his words and the claims that he makes. It is so important for you to understand this man's words. It is so critical to understand, because you're going to see the reactions of people and how they're reacting to these new truths that they have. They will either fight to maintain the false temples that they have, or they will accept this new truth that is being shown to them. Because not tasting death is what he spoke of. But that's because once you understand and you're in Christ, you understand that death is irrelevant. That in this physical body, this is non-existent. This is sin. You are born into sin or skin. So I'm going to read to you now something that he says, and this is from John 7. So Jesus said to the Jews who had believed him, "If you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples," speaking in the first person. "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Free from what? Free from this skin. Free from the illusion. They answered him, "We are the offspring of Abraham, and we have never been enslaved to anyone. How is it that you say we will become free?" Well, first, the Hebrews and the Pharisees were far more concerned about losing their place, as Scripture speaks of their place with the Romans. So clearly, they're enslaved to the Romans. But how is it that you say we will become free? So they didn't recognize that they were already in a prison, and that became clear. So this is the point of this. If there wasn't already an illusion, if there already wasn't a deception, then why did Christ come in the first place? What was he here to do? What was he here to free you from? If you already weren't a slave, then he came for no reason at all. Jesus answered them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who practices sin is a slave to sin." And this is everybody that eats from the tree of good and evil is a slave to that tree, and put into this skin, where this skin and the bondage of it becomes the most prevalent thing in your life, and you will fight to maintain whatever feels good within it. Getting outside of this body is not an easy task. Once you're there, you can't even remember what it was like to live in this world. The slave does not remain in the house forever, but the son remains forever. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. If the Son in you sets you free, that you needed to believe that he was the Son in order for you to believe that you could be the Son, which is why he prayed in the priestly prayer that you would have exactly what he had. I know that you are the offspring of Abraham, yet you seek to kill me because my word finds no place in you. Again, how they react to the truth defines what they will be for eternity. I speak of what I have seen with my father, and you do what you have heard from your father. They've chosen their place. They answered him, Abraham is our father. And Jesus said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works that Abraham did. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. This is not what you are doing the works that your father did. And they said to him, we were not born of sexual immorality. Now listen to this. What are they saying when they said, we were not born of sexual immorality? Because see, if you go back to the story of Jesus with Joseph and Mary got pregnant prior, that there was a bit of a cover-up going on. That he needed to put her away because they weren't allowed to have sex when they were just betrothed. So she became pregnant out of wedlock, which is what they're saying. It's incredible when you read these words with eyes that can see. If God were your father, you would love me, for I came from God and I am here. In the first person again. I came not on my own accord, but he sent me. Why do you not understand what I say? It is because you cannot bear to hear my word. Again, how you react to the truth is what defines who you will be. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. But because I tell you the truth, you do not believe me. Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I tell you the truth, why do you not believe me? Whoever is of God hears the words of God. The reason why you do not hear them is that you are not of God. Now, when he was talking to them, did they think they were of God? Sure they did. And in the truth and the lie in the same sentence, they thought they were of God. They were, just of the wrong one, the one that exalted himself on high, placed himself on the throne, and calls himself God. This is the deception that Christ was revealing then. This is the deception that is being revealed today. This is the deception that the churches of the world have ignored. They have completely ignored Christ's words when he said, if they say that I've returned and that I'm over there, don't believe them, because the return of the Son of Man will be like lightning striking in the east and flashing in the west. It will be big. It's not some giant projection in the sky of a person that looks exactly like all the paintings that you've seen that have been embedded and programmed into your mind. They didn't recognize the Messiah when he came then. They certainly won't recognize the Messiah when he comes today. Time is short.
Hold on. All right. So, hey, Red Rab, how are you? Good to see you. It's good to see you. This is one awesome, amazing woman. Let me see. Lawyers are likened to Antichrist. You know? Yeah, no. And think about this, though. Lawyers are done. It's over. Doctors, over. Think about what the future looks like. All of the things that make the world miserable, that drive us mad, because it's contrary to who we are. It's contrary, period. You live in architecture that isn't meant for you. Think about it. You're eating food that's not meant for you. It's designed to kill you. Truly. Because they want you dead. If you just make it easy for them, you know. They want you to believe in death too. Everything's going to change for you. The next 24 hours. The next 24 hours will change you. The next 48 hours will change you more. Think about that. That hasn't always been the case. And that's why I'm here talking with you all again. I had to go away for a spell, really. And everything had to happen. Every single thing that happened had to happen. And that's why I can still love and I can still care and I can still smile. Because I can tell you, if it wasn't the truth, I wouldn't be able to do that. It was pretty harsh. And it's been harsh on all of you guys as well. You've had your own. I mean, look at the audience on YouTube, and I don't know, we've got many more. We're smoking YouTube by a couple hundred. That's why I'm not going to be doing lives. I'm going to be doing it face to face. And what shows up from that, it's not going to be coordinated. My concern is not going to be video. It's not going to be live or anything. It's face to face, because that's all that's going to matter. Because you're not going to trust it. You don't even trust things now. You can't trust this video. Even if I'm not doing anything with it, they will, and they do. They change words. I've watched it. Did you guys know that? It's in the terms and conditions on YouTube. They can change your words to be more compliant with what they. So that way, they put those provisions in there. So when you have a video that's really viral and the demographic is perfect, and they can get a really nice, $100 CPM or something crazy, that's getting paid $100 per 1,000 views. They're going to do that. They'll change those words in your mouth, in your tongue. Yeah. That's why I'm not sticking around to this. Face to face only. You want people to hear it? Bring a crowd. And it's not about me. So you can bring the crowd to hear something, not to see me. Because in the end, you're going to understand that it has nothing to do with any one of us. It's about all of us. There's no separation between that. It's one body we're talking about here. One person. Us. It's just one. That's why they've divided you so badly. Make you believe that you're not one body in the Father, just exactly as you were told, but never really paid attention to, because the church didn't tell you to pay attention to it. So I want you to remember that the dead will rise. Fact. You're going to see that. You're alive right now, you will see that. You will see all sorts of things you've never seen before. You're already seeing them. Many of you have seen things out in the sky you've never seen before. You're seeing sprites. You're seeing dry and cold lightning in blue skies. Lightning streak across the sky. Not a cloud anywhere. You've seen that too. Lost me. There you are. You've seen flies, mechanical flies. You've tried to fry them in your fly swatters, your electric fly swatters, and you've blown them up. They didn't die. They blew up. And there was no fly guts, just little mechanics. Little very fine fiber mechanics. But imagine that world. As we compress the dimensions that we live within right now, the construct is falling apart. And the reason why it's falling apart is because, number one, the dam just can't hold the water. The dam acted like that it was permanent. that it lasted forever. It convinced you it was, but that's the false beam that I talk about. It says it's weight bearing, but it's not. A dam doesn't hold anything back. If it can't do it permanently, it never could hold it back. It was always just temporary. And that's why they felt the urgency to sell you your own water back to you, your own air back to you, your own everything. The things that they can't bottle and package, they sell you products to block it. So put it on your skin, give yourself other forms of sicknesses, which makes them more money in their other institutions. But they tell you that it's bad for you. Don't go into the sun. It'll kill you. They have never said anything to you. Your government has never, ever, ever said anything to you, ever, that had anything to do with you. Never. You think there's a constitution that somehow grants you free rights or free speech rights or any right? The Constitution doesn't grant you shit. The Constitution is as worthless as the paper that it's written on. Why anybody thinks a paper makes a difference is beyond me. That's how asleep we are. People, listen to that. A piece of paper. In the same way that you grab a piece of paper with some numbers written on it and they've convinced you it has value. And in doing so, they've convinced you that they have the authority to do anything at all. They have none. None. Zero. What authority do they have to block a river? Who gave them that authority? Nobody. If you didn't, I didn't. They need our authority to do that. And they don't have it. And you can't vote that in. You can't give someone your authority, your agency, your office. It isn't. If I could, I would sell mine because there's sure a lot of people that attack me because they want it. But they got to do it on their own. They have to find their identity in the body. They have to find if they're a fingernail in the body of cells, the trillions of cells that make up your body. We're the cells that make up the Father's body in the same way. Where are you located? I know where the government's located in it. Those people that still serve in the government, that would be the sphincter. Absolutely. Oh, what? Because I can say something like that, I'm not Christ-like. All that guilt. Do you think that church that gives you guilt, do you think anything that has anything to do with the Father has anything to do with being upset with you or thinking that you've done something wrong, anything wrong at all? How could you possibly do anything wrong in your Father's eyes? How? The only way you could think you've done something wrong in his eyes, the only way, is if you don't know what happened to you. You don't know why you're here. You don't know how you got here. You don't believe the scriptures, because then you would at least know what the scriptures say. But that's still not accurate. Not that the scripture isn't stating something that's accurate, but they ruin that because they tell you what to think about that before you even read it. And what do they do with that? Well, they tell you the inerrant word of God, which requires priests to protect it and to speak on behalf of it and to remove you from it. So even though the Bible was intended to aggregate and basically turn the Bible or the assorted texts there were many of into a single granary item, a product, a storage unit. Write nothing down. The words change and the meanings of the words change. the context changes as people lose an understanding of the cultural elements to it, which is why Christ and any prophet worth his salt knows exactly how this operates, because they can see not into the future. Prophets aren't soothsayers. We're architects. We know when something's going to break because we know how it's structured. I can tell you when something's not going to work. X froze up. Did it? It's gone? Well, it'll come back. It should. No, Christ did not come to set up a religion. Who would ever think that? And what would give you the idea that Christ came to establish some religion, or that he was looking for followers? He wasn't looking for followers. Christ was a leader, and he was looking for his equals. Period. That means he's looking for leaders. All of you. What are you doing now? Right now in your lives, what are you doing? What's important to you? What are you doing tomorrow morning? You going to work? Why? Why? Why are you going? What, you got to pay the bills? What bills? With this, you're gonna pay them to do this. Bloodless. End right now. Stop now. Your war begins now. Stop participating entirely. End of story. If you don't, they're continuing. And then I'm going to have to handle it all by myself. And believe me, I will. What does that mean? It's real simple. Bloodless, like I said. And it's going to happen regardless. I'll just point you in the right direction. You'll watch it happen. But you have something for yourself to do. For you. No one else. You're not here to satisfy a God at all. Unless you're speaking of yourself as part of the body, then sure, you're here to satisfy you. And you're not going to be satisfied with who you are and what you've done. You need to bring that to the front. The things that you've done in your life, all the things you think are hidden, and the things that aren't hidden. You take pride in being an asshole? Well, guess what? One that lives by the sword is going to die by that sword. Demons. How many of you will sit, I don't have any demons. How many of you say that? Think so? You think you don't have any demons in you? You have as many demons as you have cells in your body practically at this stage. They're not all demonic, but most are. I told you they were. I've been saying these things for years. Yeah, Red Reb, I'm sure you can. You got that red hair. Are you kidding? I'm sure you could be one hell of me. Yeah, but you know what? You need to confront that. Don't store up anything. That's what Christ was saying. Be angry, but don't let the sun go down on your anger. Get rid of it. Sure, be angry. Acknowledge it. Synthesize it. Dump it. Walk. Everything that you're doing right now matters more than anything you've ever done. If the next 6 months, just 6 months, you will change your life in ways you never thought possible. You will change your age. You will change your physical body. You will be younger. If you're ill, they will go away. I don't care what sickness they are, they will go away. Because it is that time. It is that time. There's a reason for it. The prison system that we're in here has obviously the machine world. It has a machine. It has a machine. And hey, Jack, I see you in there. Hang in there. I'll bring you up shortly, sir. Thanks for coming in. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror one day. Wouldn't make a practice of it, though. Look at yourself in the mirror. Cover one eye and look at that eye and look at the expression. Oh, it's just a sleepy eye, or it's not. It's not. This is part of what you have inside of you. You've been messed with quite bad. All of us have. Any of you know that I've had a parasite pulled from me that was pretty ridiculous. Now, Solomon, King Solomon, you all remember him, right? Well, he was a pretty good king until he decided to build a temple and store up things. I'm going to tell you all about my shoulder here, and it's my arm, my shoulder, it's been everything. It's quite remarkable. But I want to show you something. Some of you may remember I found those stones all together, those lithic sound stones. Solomon had 72 stones, and Solomon began to do certain things. What corrupted Solomon, he definitely was corrupted. And then David had to battle with him, right? But David represented the granary. They were battling Solomon. Solomon represented the vapor at first. But when he built the building, he asked for three things. You know, he asked for wisdom and wealth as well. And he was granted everything he asked for. And the wealth changed things because it was storage. So he began to store it. And as he became quite a bit more knowledgeable in certain arts, he assumed and he took on a star of Rembrandt, which is what you would call the Star of David. Considering that David was battling against him, seems odd that David would be accepting that star as his later. I don't think so. Solomon was able to materialize demons. Hear that? Materialize them and mineralize them and embed them in stones. And when the stones have the demon in them, they can invoke them by striking them. And done in the right way, these demons can do remarkable things, move mountains, do all sorts of things. And those stones, because of the unique properties that are put together, they're obviously not, the stones aren't of this world. They're of another one and of another nature. And they're indicated by how they sound. That's why they're called sound stones. These that I have are around 14,000 years old. I found 72 of them, the exact amount that Solomon had. This is the sound. I don't know whether you can hear them. Sounds like metal. Hear that? $14,000 years old. That one's translucent, somewhat. Oh, let's see. See if I can get it to be a little bit. There you go. See that notch there? That notch, hold on. Let me do this. Let me change this setting. Go to the back here. Visual turn this off. Here we go. Here we go. So, see that notch right there? That's their notch that they carve out of it so they can hang it. And this one, I can't, it's not hanging right now, but see. That's the individual sound of that one. Sounds like a metal bolt, doesn't it? Those are sound stones, and these are tuned to very specific frequencies, 14,000 years old. This one's a broken one. It's got a broken tip here, that piece there. I have that piece. That's the piece for, and this one has a little tiny piece that had a little lip on it, but this one hanging has a different sound. I'll let you hear this one. Really, you get really high pitch. Can you hear that? Really high pitch. There are some of these that are so high frequency. That's not so bad. That's like a key of F. Each one of them, a specific frequency. I am the custodian of these stones. I personally believe them to be the stones for a very good reason. But I'll get to that later because that's going to be face to face. There is no way I am saying any of the details that I know and the things that are going to take place here in the future on this platform, on any of them. I will, like I said, meet face to face, and then they will be recorded, and I'll put them on a site where they are distributed, nothing stored, everything verbal, not writing anything down. It's why I haven't written a book, guys. It's why I don't sell things. It's why I don't monetize my channel and never have. It's also why I can't hang on to anything either. I'm not allowed to. I have to comply with the architecture that is in place. It might be uncomfortable here where we're at because of the forked code that took place. So yes, of course, you're going to be a fish out of water here. You know what you're also going to look like? You're going to look poor. You're going to be poor, not because you can't make money. You just don't participate the way that they participate. So I don't charge people for anything. Everything is it's a tribute. It's not even a donation. It's a tribute. It's appreciation. That's it. It's not a donation to keep something alive, but it does. Now, what I'm putting together is going to be something that is one of the most critical pieces that we'll have, because they're going to destroy all communications. They're going to close it out. They don't have an intention of this going forward with you in the end. They need you right now. That's why they're still placating you. But that's not the Trumps of the world. These are front end people. Those aren't the ones making the decisions. You're going to meet them. You're gonna. You don't even know who they are yet. But this is going to happen in a way that you need to be prepared for, or you won't make it through it. Because the revealing is going to be so difficult for most people. Many won't even survive it. Because they don't have an identity outside of what's in this world. And yes, we are dealing with a clone war. Because demons are very real. And they are inserted at very specific times. You'll remember them. Given to you at birth, right in the delivery room, wherever that takes place. And you have them in you. And some people only have demons in them. Some aren't humans at all. And some deviate from it, which is why we're all here. If you separate yourself from it, you're going to be an enemy of it. And they're going to come for you. Now, the Hopi look the way that they look because they never, ever took on the code. They ignored the entire patch. All of the patches and the fork. That's why they don't grow the same way that everybody else grows. It's not like they don't grow normal. They just didn't have to grow that way. They just stayed the same and everything changed around them. That's why they're part of this. They didn't accept any of the patches. They'll understand all of this architecture. They do already. I'm aware. People have taken this architecture on. You can look at it at yomhadin.org, and that's YOMHADIN. If somebody wouldn't mind putting that in the chat, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to bring Jack up. Jack, how are you? This long time. It's been a long time since I've. Did you come on one of my shows once?
I think years ago we crossed paths.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, because I see your face, like, yeah, I definitely know you. How are you doing, man?
I'm feeling blessed, and I'm actually grateful to cross paths with you again tonight. Listening to you, admittedly, I know you're living a wild story, and I know your devotion and your faith, they shine brightly. And I know God is doing something amazing with us. Some of your predictions, I get what you're saying, I get what you're seeing, but I have hope that maybe there's some wild cards. God's got some plans in store, and I think that's us.
Just because I'm not, just because I'm not saying anything about things, because look, I'm telling you what's being destroyed.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what's coming, but you're not going to see what's coming unless you're content with what's being destroyed and why. And it doesn't mean that Trump is your hero because he's destroying it. They're all going to destroy it because they're destroying it because it's going to be destroyed all on its own. It can't. And they are already, that's why they're running. That's why they're doing this. They can't hide anything anymore. The granary is full. They can only build so much for it. It's overflowing and it's blowing up. The dams are all breaking. The cracks have been identified. We are the vapor. We're the water. We're the ones that are breaking. That's the whole point. We're persistent. We're distributed. There's no centralized control. If we're allowing that, then you're going to be waiting for them. That's what they're doing. They're making sure that you destroy yourself in this process. They would love for everybody to kill each other and help them out. Love it. But that's not what you're going to do because, number one, you're going to supersede death. You're going to supersede it. It's going to alter everything because we're not actually changing. We're just getting rid of things that mean nothing, okay? Mean nothing. Jack, they mean nothing, man. Yes. Everything. And like I said, that's why I was playing the pole shift, the loss of gravity. And I was talking to somebody today, one of the people, like I said, very, very well-known, millions and millions of fans, very intelligent. And he was telling me what he thought I thought. And I always get a kick out of that anybody thinks that they can climb inside my mind and do that. But no, they can't. And I've never met a person that could. And it's and who would want to? Geez, it's bad enough with one of me in there, not having somebody else. But the reality is the shift is happening. You could feel it. It's happening. And think about critical mass. Okay, 1260 is the swarm that I built. 1260 days is obviously it's as many days as I was in prison, incarcerated. At 1260 days is the two witnesses number. It's a 1260 days, the one in the wilderness. It's a very biblical number, but not for any like super secret reason. For me, it represents the number of days that I was in prison and the witnessing of that, and the two witnesses themselves, which are architectural intelligence and artificial intelligence. It's also the two versions of myself, the one that is of this world, the one that has a father that is in this world, and there was one that has a father that does not. So the separation of those things. When the fork in the code came, there became two of everything. That's why there were two Enochs, there were two Abrahams, there were two. And then they went away as it went through the scripture. They just kind of faded in, and now you're just the same person instead of two different ones. That's the blending of it. So you got to get rid of that one. That's why you got to descend before you can ascend. You got to kill the devil in you, or at a minimum, cut his tongue out.
What you said.
And circumcise your tongue at the same time you do that. So let me see. So yeah, Jack, does that make more sense?
Well, just to pair it with what you were saying, what I heard from you, it's absolutely true. It's fulfillment of the prophecy. We're discarding away that which does not serve, and that which does not serve life and God is evil, right? So we're here to overcome the evil within ourselves in this greater world. And this is the path I'm on, the path I see for us. Truth shall set us free.
Hold on one second. I got somebody at my door. Keep going. I'm listening.
Please. I think it's so perfect. Truth shall set us free, and yet we willingly, knowingly, we pay governments and corporations to keep secrets from us.
Oh yeah, and we're okay with that. But forget about even keeping the secrets, because I'm going to tell you right now, the secrets that the secret is that you don't really know any of the real secrets.
Right.
And you don't even know the real secret stuff, because it has nothing to do with your life. The only secrets that you're kind of aware of that are secrets are ones that have to do with you in this world. This world right here is not the all. No. It's a tiny little piece of it. And the reality is you don't even know. I mean, we don't have any clue at what is about to happen, because, like I said, you're going to heal yourself. You will. You don't die. All right. Death is an illusion, but you know what? We're pretty powerful creators. And if we believe we die, we will literally lay in there and rot. Yeah. That's why the dead rise. Because they're going to eventually hear something and they will rise. Like, as crazy as that might sound, but see, that's not the army. That's not the army I'm talking about, the clone army. We're literally talking about clones. They've cloned people at levels that are staggering. Staggering. And that's not hyperbole. That's real. You're about to see all of it, and way worse. Way crazier than you imagine. And you're going to realize that there are people that you didn't know who they are. And you're going to wish you did. You're going to wish you did. And you're certainly going to wish you didn't do anything wrong to them.
Derek, you clearly know things that I don't. And so I'm not going to doubt any of what you're offering. But you'll
know it all soon. You'll know it all, brother. That's the reason why I'm it's not that I'm not telling you because it's a secret. No, this is something I can't tell you. You have to witness it. Because if I told you, number one, you would never see it, because the protection mechanisms built into you would automatically right now begin building against seeing that in the future. That's how intrinsic this is. That's why I don't say what it is. I say, I'm going to lift up the rock. You look under there. Do you see it?
I love it. You were talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
You were talking about the dead rising earlier, right before I came up. And I don't know what that may or may not look like, but in my own testimony, when I participated in the American dream and bought into this 40-hour work week and the regulations and all that, I was dead. I did not know how subconsciously I was living. And so those words of let the dead bury the dead, that made sense to me, because I think much of our world is amongst the living dead. We're lost.
No question. Yeah, see, everybody keeps waiting for something else to happen. The grand delusion. It's like, what are you talking about? I mean, you live by a clock. There's no such thing as time. It doesn't exist. It's a construct of measurement with the intention of measuring the infinite with something. You can't measure it. So they just basically block off a little bit of the infinite and go, that's it. That's all of it. That's all the time there is. It's the same thing as water, same thing as damming the water. They take your life, they take the measure of motion and put it by a clock and then tell you that's a minute. They dictate what a minute is. And do you see what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden you live by minutes and then hours. And you don't understand how quickly and how much this compounds itself. Before you know it, you've built an entire building to handle your little tiny fear that never even manifested itself ever, that you never even proved to yourself. You've just built all of these things. That's what this system does. Fear, guilt, fear, guilt, fear, guilt. And then vanity. Keeping up with the Joneses, all of it. Looking good, spending money, Botox, plastic surgery, blah, blah, blah. Gosh.
It is.
It's exhausting, man.
Hey, I'm going to bounce out. I want to thank you for having me up and for these conversations and what you're doing. But before I go, you may have mentioned this before, but you mentioned sharing things in person. Do you have plans for an availability? Things you can share about that?
This will be helpful. I have a website coming that I'll have up. In fact, I might be able to put up the link in there by the end of the show. And thank you, Jack. I really appreciate you. Wonderful, wonderful sweetheart. I could feel you from through here. And I'm meeting so many different people now that I'm thankful, because the past wasn't so good. I mean, I met a lot of wonderful people, but I met a lot of awful people that really think they're good. And all that's going to be revealed as well. And not me, themselves. But, yes, I'm going to put up this site, and it's going to give people the ability to drive what is happening. And I don't want to say supporting me, because I'll live on nothing, but I'm the one building these things right now. And I'm the one putting these things together. And it's not that we won't, that these things aren't temporary that we're putting together either. They're temporary. While we're still in this state, we all are going to have to be together, and we're going to have to be able to communicate. And they're going to destroy that ability. Oh, it'll be an attack. It'll be the excuse, but that's only going to be the first part. But you'll never speak to anybody again, except face to face. You're going to travel? That won't be around either. They're going to send everybody back to the dark ages for a time. But we're not going to let that happen. And they're also coming for the United States because of the egregiousness of the crimes that the country has done and has. You don't even know how much. Wait, you'll know. You're going to know the design. That's why it says, get out of her, my people, lest you deal with the wrath. The Father doesn't have wrath. People have wrath when they lose their granary money, things like that. So yeah, and they have wrath when they see that people are eating kids and things like that. Yes, there's going to be wrath. And you don't want to be here for that. What you want to be is, you want to be ready for it. Who are you going to be in that? Are you going to be the one that is fighting? Or are you going to be the one that is meditating and praying for those that died or believe they did, because they still will. You're going to learn different. You're going to see different, and people are going to learn. The person that has guilt in their life and has experienced in the apocalypse all the revealing of themselves, and they're completely exposed to who they really are, and it's not very good. That person learning that they don't ever die is not going to be very happy. Those are the ones where their hearts fail them for fear, because they don't want to live with themselves forever. But they will. And that's that outer darkness, the weeping and gnashing of teeth. Nobody's throwing you into a lake of fire. That's something that I heard. Dere'ekh, you're not going to jump in, or you're not going to be thrown into the lake of fire. You're going to jump. That's how guilty you will feel. That's how terrible you will feel. It doesn't need to be there. It's not your fault, and you're not guilty. But you still got to turn away from it and stop. You need to do it now. Seek forgiveness and ask for forgiveness from everybody. Even if you don't remember if you were wrong or right. In fact, if you were wrong, especially, go do that. Own it. Own it. I promise you, it'll be worth your while. You got burnt.
Oh, yes, I did.
Jeez. So we're quite the crew here. We're moving. So Jack, to further answer your question, we are moving currently right now to a location that we've got a situation. Yes, thank you, Soulside. That's how you can help out right now. And I'm going to have the website, and the website has itemized things, bills, individual bills of AI tools and things that are being utilized also for the Vapornet. Vapornet is the 90,000 foot altitude balloon structure for emergency communications, global communications with balloons, believe it or not, 90,000 foot altitude, persistent. It's a very simple network. It works. I will show and demo the prototype. You'll get to see it if you help build it, because we're going to need it. When they shut that off, this will stay alive, and they can't even shut that off at 90,000 feet. Not even missiles fly there. So, and on top of that, you'll be helping yourself, because there will be ground peer-to-peer decentralized structure nodes that you'll have, and it'll be a mesh network where we connect to each other. You don't need the internet. The internet is dying as it is anyway. Saturn is tipped on its side. Its rings are all but invisible and having very little impact on us, and going to have a lot less coming up. That's part of why the gravitational system is happening. They'll tell you it's for two black holes converging. No, those black holes are just basically entities at war, and the war is coming close. If you're seeing sprites in the sky and you're seeing all those things, you know what I mean. There is a war in heaven. It's going on right now as we speak. And you guys can help build this. This network is very viable. We're talking $45, $50 each one of these nodes. The ones that are up at 90,000 foot altitude, they're only $200. We're putting $250,000 of those together soon, fast as we can. The sooner we can launch. All we need is 50 to actually cover the entire globe. Or globe, or flat, or whatever you think it is, because I can tell you, you're going to learn. You're going to learn. It's both. Wait, it's both. You're both right, but neither of you are really right. That's how things are. That's how it's going to be. Get comfortable with that. Just be happy that you're right at all, because
What a time to be alive.
yeah, what a time to be alive. Oh, that was there. Okay, so questions before I go. I could take one more question, but I'm going to be dropping off here soon after I give more details about what's going on, because I am going to be traveling around. I want to. I'll be locating, finding a Sprinter van, small motorhome type. Yes, gas is expensive, but we're going to hit the road. We're going to do everything we can. You guys are going to be the ones that put us on the road, and I'm taking as it would be the proper number that I need for what's going to be up there. I will be gathering 12 people. Some of you already know. 12 people to go with me to a location. We're going to Glacier National Park, but for a very different reason. And every one of you will be told the details of this prior, so it's not going to be secret, but I'm definitely keeping a tight lid on what I'm going to be going there for. And I have a lot of people to speak to before I get there. I have to get in a stable spot, and the stable spot is being a sprinter. Not going to be looking to buy a home or sit in one spot or stay anywhere for any extended period of time, because that's not what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be Vapor. Yeah, bus, motorhome, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm sure that's going to change shape as we go. If there are people that want things to be donated, you want to donate things, you can. Things that we don't need. So I'll put a list of things that we could accept for donations, that we will utilize. If it can be purchased, it's going to be better off for us to be purchased, because I cannot, there's not tons that we need, but the things that we do need, we need to make sure work properly and will be consistent. So I want to make sure that, so if you have things that you can, or it doesn't have to be donated, somebody has a Sprinter van that you want to lend to us for a short period of time, that works too. If there's a location that you have, property that you have, you want us to, you make it available for us to stop at and stay there for 3 weeks, 2 weeks. We'll stay probably in some of these places for a week, some just days, some a month. It just depends on what it is. But there's going to be a lot of things and a lot of changes taking place during that. But that's what we're going to be doing. And we're also going to be launching these, the balloons along the way, and the ground pods. It will make a difference. When things go out and you're the only one that can communicate with anyone on the other side of the planet, it's going to be a pretty valuable network. Yeah, they know that. The site that I'm putting together, like I said, will allow you to pick a bill and pay it. And everything is transparent. Every single dollar will be there with the receipts of the things. If it's an electronic receipt, it'll come right away and it'll be in the site. So you'll be able to pay the bill directly. I don't want to have any contact with any of it. I want to keep myself completely separate from all of that. And that means that it's done digitally, and it doesn't go to anybody's hands. It's all what is needed, nothing stored. That solves a lot of people's worries about, oh, are they honest or are they just trying to get wealthy? I'm not trying to get wealthy. I wouldn't be telling you to pay a bill directly. And I'd be trying to convince you to send me something and store that up. No storage here. Seal of Solomon, closed loop. Yes. Seal of Solomon is a closed loop, and it's not the Seal of Solomon is his error. Before that, he was a distributed architecture, and very, very well loved for it. So it was a sad break for him, I'm sure. Let me see. I'm trying to read. I don't have my glasses on. Oh, I guess I can put them on. I just hate these things. I'll be happy when I get rid of glasses. So closed loop, yes. Penitentiary, yeah, for sure, man. Hold on very quickly. You guys, the pinned tweet, if there's any questions, but other than that, at 251, I just want to say, guys, thank you on X for joining. I know that people typically don't join on X. They don't know, people on X don't know me very well. And they don't, you guys can't see their comments in the chat here. So when I stream to X and to YouTube, it does not show up here. Just so you guys know, what we're doing with this van is we will be going, I'll put cameras in the thing. So the trip, I want to be able to show you guys what's happening and the things that are discussed along the way. I will not, as soon as I possibly can, I will not be, in fact, in person on the road, I will be saying everything. Be no holding back. I'm just not doing that here make sure that we still have this communication here. And I don't trust the communication that comes through here. Like I said, they can change your words and they're allowed to do it. And I've seen them do it. Not with mine yet, but I've seen them do it with people that I know. And they were astonished to find out that they had changed it. You could barely tell. The person doing it could tell, but they changed the words. So let me see if that site is available. And I have one more video for to play before I close. Actually, two more before I close, short ones. So allow me to do that. Let me remove this one. Try to get this up. I think this is it. We'll see.
The explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into a pretty wild...
No, actually, I am going to play this again. This is the one that played right at the beginning of this video, so I'm sure that most of the people that are in here right now did not see this. This is actually quite good. So let me play this and get out of the way. This is showing something that is unknown. There's a couple pieces in here that there's double... two instances of a monument, but pay really close attention because this is something that changes everything. And this is true. The Middle East is not what you think it is. It's part of the illusion as well. The granary making the fake Holy Land so you don't find the real Holy Land. Fact. It's going to be an interesting time.
Wild reinterpretation of... well, everything. Biblical geography, cosmic architecture, you name it. It all comes from a source known as the Able Vapor Protocol. So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we've got to wrap our heads around the main idea. Then we'll look at the specific places it pinpoints on the map, explore the two warring systems it describes, get into a really intense personal story, and finally, figure out what the end game is. So right off the bat, this whole theory throws a huge question at you, one that kind of messes with everything you've ever been taught about sacred geography. It just asks, what if the Holy Land isn't where we think it is? And this right here, this single quote from the originator, a person who goes by Able Vapor, this is the bedrock. This is the one single idea that the entire thing is built on. All right, first section, let's dig in and see how this one concept tries to build a whole new framework for reality. Okay, so here's the absolute key. This isn't just a simple find and replace, right? It's not about just swapping out the Middle East for the US on a map. No, the Able Vapor Protocol says the very idea of the Holy Land is different. It's not a dot on a map. It's more like an energy, a vapor that flows through the entire North American continent like it's a giant circuit board. Okay, next section. So if this vapor is flowing all over North America, where are the actual biblical hotspots? Let's get into the specific one-to-one comparisons this theory makes. So first up, they say forget the Fertile Crescent we all learned about in school. The real one? That's the American Midwest. The Mississippi River system? That's supposed to be the actual Euphrates. And get this, its source, a place called Triple Divide Peak in Montana, that's the Garden of Eden. Seriously. And what about the parting of the Red Sea? That epic miracle? Well, according to this, it wasn't about water. It was about geology. It's the Gulf of California, where two massive tectonic plates are literally ripping apart. They even pinpoint the exact spot for the crossing between Puerto Penasco and San Felipe. And the list just keeps going. You've got Mount Graham in Arizona, a place that's deeply sacred to the Apache people. The protocol says that's the real Mount Hermon, the biblical portal where angels supposedly came down to earth. Okay, how about the Dead Sea? Well, take a look at Utah's Great Salt Lake. It's a terminal lake. Water flows in, but not out. It's at the lowest point of its basin. The theory argues it's a perfect match, an identical twin to the biblical Salt Sea. All right, now this next one is probably the most jaw-dropping claim of them all. Forget Egypt in Africa. The protocol says the real Egypt is the Grand Canyon. And to back this up, it points to this old, really disputed 1909 newspaper article about an underground Egyptian city found there. And it doesn't stop. The theory suggests that the entire Middle East we see today is just a giant modern fabrication, like a movie set built to throw us off the scent. All right, next up. This whole map swap isn't just about geography. It's supposedly part of a massive cosmic war between two completely opposite systems. At the very core of this whole thing is this
epic struggle between two different cosmic blueprints, or architectures. They're called the 131 system and the 1331 system. Basically, think of it as Team Abel versus Team Cain. One is all about natural, divine flow. The other is about creating an artificial prison.
So, the 131 system, the Abel system, is painted as the original design. It's pure, organic, spread out. It's all about that vapor or flow we talked about. This is the true intended architecture of America, the road back to the divine, with places like Triple Divide Peak as its power centers.
And then you have the flip side, the 1331 Cain system. This is the imposter. It's artificial, it's centralized, it's all about storage, basically a prison. This, the protocol east to, get this, banning drones in U.S. national parks. Why? To keep us from seeing the real ancient architecture that's hiding in plain sight. Now check this out, because this is where a real-world piece of tech gets pulled into the story. There's a very real telescope on Mount Graham, the so-called Mount Hermann, called the Lucifer telescope. It was built by the Vatican. The protocol claims this isn't for science, it's a 1331 spy tool, hunting for the mythical planet Nibiru. Okay, so this huge abstract war, it gets very, very real in a personal story from the guy who started it all, Abel Vapor. Abel Vapor claims he was literally grabbed and taken from a town called Republic, Washington, which he says is a massive gold storage site. And listen to how he describes it. This is a direct quote. It wasn't a law enforcement agency. It was two MS-13 gang bangers, fully wrapped as bail agents. But this is the detail that's meant to blow your mind. He says one of the guys who took him had a 1 tattooed on his right cheek and a 3 on his left. The theory presents this as the mark of Cain, physical proof of the 1331 system's agents walking among us. So, okay, what's the point of all this? What's the end game? That brings us to our final section, the return protocol. All right, so let's just do a quick lightning round recap of the main map changes this whole theory is based on. You see it here. Solomon's Temple becomes the Many Glacier Hotel in Montana. The famous cedars of Lebanon, those are the redwood and Douglas fir trees on the west coast. And yeah, like we said, the Grand Canyon is the new Egypt. So if the original system is broken, how do you fix it? Well, according to the protocol, there's a very specific set of instructions. You gotta go back to the Many Glacier Hotel, bring members of the Algonquin and Blackfoot tribes, who are called the keyholders, and they can open up a hidden cave system to find this ancient stash of gold. And here's the kicker. There's a ticking clock. The source material points to a few critical dates, and it all leads up to one big one that's coming up fast. March 3rd, 2026, a day it calls Yom Hadin, basically Judgment Day. And that's where it leaves us, with this huge unanswered question. It paints this picture of a frantic race against a cosmic clock, with this 2026 deadline just around the corner. The real question isn't just will they find the key? It's what happens to all of us if they don't.
Ooh, that's a heck of a question. What's going to happen to all of us? What do you guys think is going to happen? Let's look here. Hold on. Let me
Hi,
see.
everyone. So
That's not it. I'm looking for something.
Remember the 5th of...
If you guys hadn't seen that, I think
Remember the 5th of November. We've seen your treason a lot. I can think of no reason that the blue and white treason shall ever be forgot. Father, why me? If not you, then who?
Start a war. I came to finish one. With no sword drawn, only truth sharp enough to divide soul from spirit. flame. Took the hits, wore the shame, never played the fame. Paramount to Microsoft, backdoor routes. While they fed on greed, I mapped the way out. Facing the shadows, Guy Fawkes grin. Told the world the dollar's fake, they called it sin. Build the rails they ride on now. They silence prophets when they're loud. They said I was gone. I saw you in the dark. You knew me by the tremble in your soul. Not by title, not by creed, but by the frequency of what cannot be bought or taught. They said I was done, but I never bled. With every fall, I rose instead. From the cold and ash, I carved the path. I was always here. I am around.
The first and the last. The city holds its breath.
And we breathe for it. We witness.
My name is not for worship. It's for war. It's for witness. It's for those who remember what silence cost.
And if you're hearing this, you're not too late.
Oh, that was fun. Did you like that song? I like it. It's a good song. So, guys, thank you. If we have 500 people on here, see YouTube, you guys are dying over there. What do you have there? You 81 on YouTube. YouTube, you're missing it. But like I said, this will probably be, I'll do maybe a couple. Oh, you just broke the 501. Very good. Again, what is coming next, guys? Don't be scared. You have nothing to be afraid of. Will it be disturbing? Yeah. It'll be scary for others. You don't need to be scared. I swear I'm not going to show you fables. You're going to watch me go the same places you're going. Join along. Meet me in that salt flat when that time comes. That's coming. There's some other things that are coming as well. Some people. I can't wait to introduce you to some of these folks. So it's been a long time coming, a decade putting things together, and a lot of opposition. We need your support only for the temporary. And we don't store up anything. You don't have to worry about that. And you don't have to worry about me trying to build a cult, because every single one of us are equal. Nobody's serving anyone. Only thing I'm doing is clearing the way. And I'm doing a lot more of that than you realize. So I thank you. You can support us right now. It's the only thing we've got left. There's been everything has been debanked, and when I say we, I'm talking about all of you too, because I'm not by myself here. If you think I'm doing this for me or somebody that's just hanging out with us, no, you're more than welcome to come. You want to hit the road? Well, get in the line. If you think you can handle it, it's not what you think it is, and it's not going to be easy. And while folks are traveling with me, it's if you are going to be there, you'll know exactly what you're to do. And if you don't have something to do, you won't be there, because we all have something to do. So if you have it in your heart, you know how to get a hold of me. And believe me, if you need to get a hold of me, you will. I've never met a person, not one time in the past decade, that was unable to get a hold of me. If they wanted to, they got a hold of me. So don't worry about that. And if you have something against me, they'll bring it. I'm happy to have that conversation. And if you can't, well, then you don't have any business even thinking about it. It's really simple. You will receive exactly what you are intended to receive, and that is respect. Everybody will demand that as well. So it's really simple. Yes, and that is, thank you very much. Souls, I see you're so good. I don't even remember. See, guys, let me just explain something. I have to live by my architecture that I've espoused and said, this is it, because it is. And if I'm not actually doing it, then what good am I? I've been doing it. You just don't know it. You just don't see it. You do, but you don't recognize it. You don't know what the symptoms are. The symptoms are exactly what Christ said. I have nowhere to lay my head. Everybody seemed to offer him everything, right? They do, but can't stay. You stay too long, it gets old. So that's where you can help. And as soon as I have the site available, I'm going to on the MailChimp. It's not on here, but if you are already on the mail list that I have, I've never sent anybody an email. I think one time I've sent it. I have an email list of 9,000 followers. So you'll be getting that email that will have all the details, everything that we're doing, daily everything will be right there. It's just not going to be on any of these platforms, any of them. If you haven't noticed, they've all gone to hell. So I'm going to play this last song, which is also a message, and then I'll go and I'll probably see you again. If I'm gonna stream again, I'll include YouTube. It really requires me to come here and use StreamYard to do it, and I really can't stand YouTube that much. I'm grateful that it was there when we had it, because it allowed me to get the message to all of you, but it's not a good place right now. I'll still leave the videos up and everything that's there, but just this and everything else becomes a funnel where it might seem like freedom. It might seem like the right thing, but it's not. And we need to act appropriately. The world's condition demands it. And those people that you want to see justice served, why? It's going to be served, believe me. There is no running from those types of things. You don't have to be the one executing it. In fact, If you're that happy to see somebody else judged, well, then expect that same degree of veracity to judge you. Because you'll do that. Try to avoid it. Let me get, see if this is it. All right, I'm going to have to go here. All right. Let me share this. Thank you, Soulseye. I appreciate that. Folks, seriously, and help out at that PayPal address. And the, sorry, hold on, link will be there soon. What happened to these? I apologize. I really would rather somebody else do this for me too. Too much to do. Appreciate you. And let me get this played.
Foxes have holes. Birds have nests. But we have this moment, this breath, this matching scar. I spent years building dams, thinking I was building homes. Store it up, pack it tight, keep it safe from the night. But stone by stone, the water turns to wine, and wine turns to blood, and blood turns to breath. Now I have no place to lay my head, except here, except now, except where you are. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. But we have this moment, this breath, this matching scar. Been years building dams, thinking I was building homes. Store it up, pack it tight, keep it safe from the night. But stone by stone, the water turns to wine, and wine turns to blood, and blood turns to breath. Now I have no place to lay my head, except here, except now, except where you are. I see you, I see me,
The slice on your back is the map on mine. The water ran away, make step at right time. You stored it up, letting bonds, biting bones and stones in the dust that speaks. And now I'm breathing what you held back from me. For us, for nothing, for everything. They offered me a cane, a crutch, a place to sit and stay, to set a rest here. The rider won't come today, but I know better now. I've seen the mold, I've smelled the grave of things kept too long in caves. So I walk with you, no bed, no roof, no walls. Trust the white sky and the scars that prove I'm yours. I see you, I see you, I see me. The slice on your back is the map on mine. The water ran away, mixed at the right time. You stored it up, not in bars, but in bowls and stones in the dust that speaks. And now I'm breathing what you have back for me. For us, for nothing, for everything. I wanna tell you what I see, but words are heavy and you taught me to travel light. So I'll just say thank you for the discomfort, for the road, for the knowing that I'd never walk on. You carried the weight until I was ready to carry mine. Now I see the reflection, it's perfection, it's persistence, it's a love.